All India Radio presents morning news. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Sarabjit Kaur. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with beneficiaries of government programs at Garib Kalyan Sammelan at Shimla this morning. 11th installment of 21,000 crore rupees to 10 crore farmers under Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme to be released by Prime Minister. Centre approves extension of Prime Minister's employment generation program for 5 years. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu reaches Gabon to hold delegation-level talks with Gabon Prime Minister Rose Christian Osuka Raponda. EU leaders agree to ban 90% of Russian oil imports by year-end. World No Tobacco Day is being observed today. In Asia Cup Men's Hockey, India to take on South Korea in the final round-robin league match in Jakarta today. In French Open tennis, India's Rohan Bopanna and his Dutch partner Matwé Middelkoop storm into men's doubles semi-final. World number 2 Daniil Medvedev and Stefanos Tsitsipas make a shock exit in the men's singles. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Janotsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. Recalling our yesterday's question, which freedom fighter is associated with Songs from Prison, a translation of ancient Indian religious lyrics in English? The correct answer is Mahatma Gandhi. AIR News got an overwhelming response from its listeners across the world, and the one lucky winner of the quiz is Vinay Kumar Keshri from Dunduria in Gumla district, Jharkhand.
मैं विनय कुमार केसरी गुमला झारखंड का रहने वाला हूं। मैं पिछले 50 वर्षों से आकाशवाणी का नियमित श्रोता रहा हूं। आकाशवाणी से प्राप्त जानकारियां बहुत ही लाभप्रद होती हैं। अमृत महोत्सव क्विज में मेरा चुनाव होने पर आकाशवाणी को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
And coming to our today's question, which is the 84th of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. Which freedom fighter moved a bill for introduction of compulsory and free primary education in the Imperial Legislative Council in 1911? To repeat the question, which freedom fighter moved a bill for introduction of compulsory and free primary education in the Imperial Legislative Council in the year 1911? Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 8826546262, that is 8826546262, or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. Amrit Mahotsav Quiz at prasarbharati.gov.in. One lucky participant will be selected as a winner and will be announced in tomorrow's morning news. Winner will be awarded a certificate and a token prize. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the Garib Kalyan Sammelan at Shimla in Himachal Pradesh today. It is being organized to mark the completion of 8 years of the BJP-led government at the centre. During the Sammelan, the Prime Minister will directly interact with the beneficiaries of different programs of various ministries and departments. On this occasion, Mr. Modi will release the 11th installment of the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi PM Kisan scheme. This will enable the transfer of an amount of around 21,000 crore rupees to more than 10 crore families of farmers. He will also interact with the beneficiaries of the PM Kisan scheme across the country. The Sammelan is one of the largest ever single-event nationwide interaction spanning all districts. The Prime Minister will interact with beneficiaries regarding impact of these schemes and programs on their lives. This public program is being organized across the country at state capitals, district headquarters and Krishi Vigyan Kendras. Under the series of events, scheme beneficiaries will be interacting with chief ministers, central and state ministers, members of parliament, members of legislative assembly and other elected public representatives. The endeavour is to make the reach and delivery of government programs more efficient so as to improve the ease of living of the citizens of the country. Our correspondent reports that a huge rally and a road show will be held on the occasion.
A national-level event, Garib Kalyan Sammelan, will be organized today at historic Ridge Ground in Shimla, where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will virtually interact with the beneficiaries of 16 government schemes running across the country. Prime Minister will also connect to Chief Minister, Central Minister and Members of Parliament from Shimla virtually. Union Minister Anurag Singh Thakur has also reached Shimla to attend the function. There is a tremendous enthusiasm among the people, including BJP workers, regarding the rally. According to the BJP State Office, around 50,000 people are expected to attend the mega rally to be addressed by the Prime Minister. 17 lakh people across the country will also participate in this program through a virtual medium. To make the event a success, 3 to 4 LEDs have been installed in each district where the public will be able to see and hear the Prime Minister's address. A grand road show is also being organized in the city under the leadership of Prime Ministers before the rally to be held at historic Ridge Ground. Sanjeev Sundrial, AIR News, Shimla.
Union Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan will interact with beneficiaries of central schemes as part of the Garib Kalyan Sammelan at Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala this morning. The program, to be held at the Central Tuber Crops Research Institute of the ICAR at Sri Karyam in the state capital, will be linked to the Prime Minister's live event in Shimla. Union Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar and ICAR Director General Dr. Trilochan Mohapatra will attend the program virtually and interact with farmers.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led NDA government has successfully completed 8 years in office. On the occasion, the News Services Division of All India Radio brings for its listeners a series of special programs on the important schemes of the central government that have transformed the lives of people. In the special series dedicated to 8 years of service, good governance and welfare of the poor, today the focus will be on schemes introduced by the government for the welfare of our farmers.
मेरा नाम प्रतीक प्रदीप चौगुले, मैं रहने वाला मालगांव का हूँ। मेरी खेती में गन्ना और अंगूर की खेती है मेरी। मुझे पता चला कि पीएम किसान योजना सरकार ने चालू की है। पहले किसानों के लिए ऐसी कोई भी स्कीम नहीं थी और पीएम किसान का जो योजना है वो डायरेक्ट किसान के अकाउंट में पैसा जमा कर देती है। इससे किसान उसका पूरी तरह लाभ ले रहा है। इस स्कीम से किसान को बहुत ही राहत मिल रही है।
In last 8 years, the central government increased the budget of farmers' welfare programs from about 22,000 crores to about 1.25 lakh crores. For more information on similar schemes which are resulting in positive changes in the lives of farmers, listen to our special program today on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:15 p.m. onwards. Praveen Shankar Shelkar, a farmer from Osmanabad of Maharashtra, has been reaping huge benefits through the central government's minimum support price scheme. Talking to AIR News, he urged other farmers as well to take part in the government's MSP scheme instead of selling their produce in the open market.
मेरा नाम प्रवीण शंकर शेखे है। मैं उस्मानाबाद जिले के कलम तालुका में से वानेवाड़ी बोल के मेरा एक छोटा सा गांव है। हर साल हम ओपन मार्केट में या चालू मंडी में बेचते थे। इस साल हमने जो गवर्नमेंट का एमएसपी योजना है वहाँ हमने हमारा चना 5,230 रुपया प्रति क्विंटल के हिसाब से बेचा। मैं हर किसान भाइयों से यही कहूंगा कि अगर हमारे माल को एमएसपी में अच्छे रेट मिलते हैं तो हम ओपन मार्केट की तरफ न जाते हुए इस गवर्नमेंट की योजना में सहभाग ले और हमारे खेती में का जो भी नफा है मुबदला है वो बढ़ाइए।
In Telangana, over 250 children who lost their parents or guardians during the COVID pandemic have been identified and adopted by the central government under the PM Cares for Children scheme. Prime Minister Narendra Modi released the benefits under the scheme through video conferencing yesterday. The bank deposit-related papers were also distributed to the children from Telangana at the local district collectorate offices. Muhammad Gaus from Hyderabad lost both his parents during COVID pandemic. He received PM Cares assistance yesterday. Talking to AIR News, Muhammad Gaus said assistance received under the scheme will help him fulfill his dreams.
मेरा नाम मोहम्मद गौस है। मैं इंटर फर्स्ट ईयर से हूँ क्रिस्टन कॉलेज से। मेरे मम्मी पापा की कोविड से डेथ हो गई तो एनजीओ के थ्रू कलेक्टर ऑफिस गया फर्स्ट ईयर का। पूरी पढ़ाई की हेल्प हो रही है। मोदी सर की तरफ से मेरा सपना पूरा होता सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर बनने का। मोदी सर हम लोग को गार्डियंस के जैसा देख रहे हैं। मैं शुक्रिया बोलना चाह रहा हूँ।
The government has approved continuation of the Prime Minister's Employment Generation Programme over the 15th Finance Commission cycle for 5 years from 2021-22 to 2025-26. It has been approved with an outlay of around 13,554 crore rupees. The Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises is implementing the program to facilitate generation of employment opportunities for unemployed youth across the country by assisting setting up of micro enterprises in non-farm sectors. Since its inception in 2008-2009, about 7.8 lakh micro enterprises have been assisted with a subsidy of 19,995 crore rupees. It has generated an estimated sustainable employment for 64 lakh persons.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu reached Libreville in Gabon last night. Mr. Naidu is on a three-nation tour to Gabon, Senegal and Qatar. The Vice President was welcomed by Gabon Prime Minister Rose Christine Osuka Raponda upon arrival. Mr. Naidu is accompanied by a high-level delegation including Minister of State for Health and Family Welfare, Dr. Bharti Pawar, and 3 members of Parliament. During the first leg of his visit to Gabon, the Vice President will hold delegation-level talks with Prime Minister Raponda. He will also interact with the business community and address the Indian diaspora.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a video conference with Karnataka Chief Minister Basavaraj Bhumai on the International Yoga Day celebration main event to be held in Mysuru on the 21st of June as part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The Chief Minister briefed the Prime Minister on the preparations being done for the event. He informed that the stage is set to conduct the Yoga Day at the Mysuru Palace premises. Mr. Bhumai said that he is looking forward to the visit of the Prime Minister to the event.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with beneficiaries of government programs at Garib Kalyan Sammelan at Shimla this morning. 11th installment of 21,000 crore rupees to 10 crore farmers under Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme to be released by Prime Minister. Centre approves extension of Prime Minister's Employment Generation Programme for 5 years. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu reaches Gabon to hold delegation-level talks with Gabon Prime Minister Rose Christine Osuka Raponda. EU leaders agreed to ban 90% of Russian oil imports by year-end. World No Tobacco Day is being observed today. In Asia Cup Men's Hockey, India to take on South Korea in their final round-robin league match in Jakarta today. In French Open tennis, India's Rohan Bopanna and his Dutch partner Matwé Middelkoop storm into men's doubles semi-final. World number 2 Daniil Medvedev and Stefanos Tsitsipas make a shock exit in the men's singles. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है एनवायरमेंट एंड क्लाइमेट चेंज और सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 1 जून। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
सिनेमा प्रेमी हो जाओ तैयार, आया है फिल्मों का त्योहार। 29 मई से 4 जून तक लगातार सपनों का शहर लाया आपके लिए उपहार। देखिए मुंबई इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल ऑनलाइन भी ऑफलाइन भी। पंजीकरण कराएं www.miff.in पर।
The European Union (EU) leaders have agreed to embargo most of Russian oil imports into the bloc by year-end. It is a part of new sanctions on Moscow worked out at a summit focused on helping Ukraine. The embargo covers Russian oil brought in by sea. It allows a temporary exemption for imports delivered by pipeline, a move that was crucial to bring landlocked Hungary on board, a decision that required consensus. EU Council President Charles Michel said the agreement covers more than two-thirds of oil imports from Russia. European Union Chief Ursula von der Leyen, the head of the EU's executive branch, said the punitive move will effectively cut around 90% of oil imports from Russia to the EU by the end of the year. Michel said the new sanctions, which needed the support of all 27 member countries, will be legally endorsed by Wednesday. World No Tobacco Day is being observed today to raise awareness about the damage caused by consuming tobacco. This day is celebrated on 31st of May every year to inform the public on the dangers of using tobacco and the business practices of tobacco companies. The theme of World Tobacco Day is Protect the Environment. Tobacco kills over 8 million people every year and destroys the environment. The harmful impact of the tobacco industry on the environment, scarce resources, and fragile ecosystem is vast. Several events are being held across the country to mark the day. In Rajasthan, a swearing-in program will be held in Jaipur, during which 1 crore people will take oath simultaneously across the state to spread awareness about harmful effects of consuming tobacco. And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
Vande Mataram Bharatiya Pataka Nirupakalpana Jeti Tarasarala Taragananta Pratibhakta Nandinchi.
On 31st of May 1921, Gandhian nationalist Pingali Venkaiah presented the initial design of the national flag to Mahatma Gandhi during the Vijayawada session of the All India Congress Committee. The original design consisted of 2 colors, red and green. To the center of the horizontally divided flag, Lala Hansraj Sondhi suggested the addition of the traditional spinning wheel, which was associated with Gandhiji's crusade to make Indians self-reliant by fabricating their own clothing from local fibers. Gandhiji modified the flag by adding a white stripe in the center, thus also providing a clearly visible background for the spinning wheel.
Peru Talashi Chete Vandanam Bharatiya Pataka Nirupakalpana Jeti Tarasarala Taragananta Pratibhakta Nandinchi.
The flag came to be associated with nationhood for India, and it was officially recognized at the annual meeting of the Congress Party in August 1931. At the same time, the current arrangement of stripes and the use of deep saffron instead of red were approved. During the Second World War, Subhash Chandra Bose used the flag without the spinning wheel in the territories freed by the Indian National Army. Post-independence, a national flag committee under President Rajendra Prasad replaced the charkha with the Ashok Chakra.
We also remember freedom fighter and former Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, Dwarka Prasad Mishra, who died on the 31st of May 1988. Dwarka Prasad Mishra actively contributed to the nationalist movements and was associated with the non-cooperation movement and the Quit India movement.
Dwarka Prasad Mishra was born on 5th of August 1901 in Unnao district of Uttar Pradesh. In the year 1920, Dwarka Prasad Mishra jumped into the freedom struggle on the call of Mahatma Gandhi. He joined the non-cooperation movement and remained in the front line of the nationalist movements.
He served prison sentences during the years 1932, 1940 and 1942. He became a minister of Central Provinces in 1937 and 1946.
A journalist and literator, Dwarka Prasad Mishra edited Shri Sharda Monthly in 1921, Dainik Lokmat in 1931 and the weekly Sarathi in 1947. Motilal Nehru praised Dwarka Prasad on the editorial written in Lokmat on the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. He had acknowledged that even the best criminal lawyer of India cannot prepare a better charge sheet on the gruesome incident.
After independence, Mishra was elected to be the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh twice. He remained committed to the welfare of the people till the end. We salute the great Indian.
We also remember social reformer Santaram B.A., who died on the 31st of May 1988. Santaram devoted his life to the cause of building a casteless and classless society through his writings in magazines like Chand, Sudha, Saraswati, Kranti and Bharatiya. He was a close friend of Rahul Sankrityayan.
Santaram was born at Purani Basi near Hoshiarpur, Punjab on 14th of February 1887. He joined Arya Samaj at a young age and founded the Jat Paat Todak Mandal in 1922. The Mandal drew attention of the entire nation and received overwhelming support as well as opposition from the conservatives. The Mandal invited Baba Saheb Dr. Bhim Rao Ambedkar to deliver the presidential address at its annual convention at Lahore in 1936. However, when the address was postponed after vehement opposition from the conservatives, Baba Saheb published the speech as a book and thus came into being one of his most famous books, The Annihilation of Caste.
Santaram wrote more than 100 small booklets advocating Hindu-Muslim unity and an end to caste discrimination. He continued to work for the emancipation of the depressed classes for his entire life. We salute the great Indian.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Union Public Service Commission has announced the result of Civil Services Examination 2021. Ms. Shruti Sharma has emerged as the topper in the examination, while Ms. Ankita Agarwal secured the second rank. Ms. Gamini Singla has secured the third position. As many as 685 candidates have qualified the examination.
The Enforcement Directorate has arrested Delhi's Health Minister Satyendra Jain. Sources said he was arrested in an alleged money laundering case. Investigation by the Enforcement Directorate revealed that the companies beneficially owned and controlled by Mr. Jain received accommodation entries to the tune of 4 crore 81 lakh rupees from shell companies against cash transferred to Kolkata-based entry operators through Hawala route. These amounts were utilized for direct purchase of land or for the repayment of loan taken for the purchase of agricultural land in and around Delhi. Accordingly, immovable properties worth 4 crore 81 lakh rupees in the form of land have been attached. Further investigation in the case is under progress.
In Jammu and Kashmir, security forces gunned down 2 terrorists in an encounter in Avantipura area of Pulwama district this morning. The gunfight between security forces and terrorists broke out at Rajpura village in Avantipura area last evening. The security forces launched a joint operation after receiving a specific intelligence input about the presence of terrorists in the area. And moving on to sports news now. In Asia Cup Men's Hockey Tournament, defending champions India will take on South Korea in their final Super 4 round-robin league match at the GBK Sports Complex Hockey Stadium in Jakarta, Indonesia today. India will be looking for an outright win against South Korea to book their place in the final tournament.
In French Open tennis, India's Rohan Bopanna and his Dutch partner Matvey Middlecoff have reached their first ever men's doubles semi-final. They defeated British Finland pairing of Lloyd Glaspool and Harry Heliovara in the quarterfinals. 16-seed Indo-Dutch duo beat Glaspool and Heliovara in a match spanning over 2 hours. Bopanna and Milkop will clash with 12th-seed Marcelo Arevalo of El Salvador and Jean-Julien Roger of the Netherlands in the last 4. In men's singles, Daniil Medvedev and Stefanos Tsitsipas suffered surprise 4th-round exits on a day of shocks at the French Open. World number 2 Medvedev lost to former US Open champion Marin Cilic of Croatia. Thunderstorm in Delhi brought the temperature down by several notches and provided relief from the intense heat. The heavy downpour last evening caused traffic jams and waterlogging in many parts of the national capital. A large number of trees were uprooted due to the gusty winds, causing damage to houses and cars. Flight schedule was affected at the Indira Gandhi International Airport. According to Delhi police, a 50-year-old man from Delhi's Jama Masjid area died after a balcony fell over him. A 65-year-old man was also killed in the aftermath of hailstorm in North Delhi area. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The minimum temperature was 25 and the maximum will be 39 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have partly cloudy sky. Chennai is likely to have cloudy sky and there is also possibility of light rain. The temperature will hover between 29 and 39 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with the possibility of moderate rain or thunderstorm. Srinagar will have partly cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Jammu will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Leh and Gilgit will have partly cloudy sky. Muzaffarabad is likely to have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Visakhapatnam, Bengaluru and Hyderabad are predicted to have generally cloudy sky with light rain.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Top 3 ranks in IAS exam go to women. Headlines The Asian Age showing a photograph of the beaming topper Shruti Sharma with her family. After 7 years, women take top 3 positions in civil services exam. Want to bring change, writes the Indian Express. Evening rain brings Delhi to its knees yet again. 2 dead is the headline in Hindustan Times, which carries a photograph of uprooted trees on a Delhi road. Misery pours from above. 2 die, roads clogged, writes the Pioneer. IMD faces the heat for announcing arrival of monsoon before its own criteria were met, reports the Hindustan Times. Storm over IMD's monsoon onset call, writes the Hindu business line. The Hindu quotes the Punjab police as saying that singer Sidhu Moosewala's killing was planned from Tihar jail. Nepal plane crash, 21 bodies recovered, headlines the Tribune with a photograph showing the debris of the plane strewn across a hillside. No survivors in Nepal crash, writes the Indian Express. And finally, the Times of India informs that a man dressed as an old woman in a wheelchair smeared a pastry on Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa. The painting survived the cake attack, writes the paper.
Before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Which freedom fighter moved a bill for introduction of compulsory and free primary education in the Imperial Legislative Council in the year 1911? WhatsApp your response on 8826546262. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to interact with beneficiaries of government programs at the Gharib Kalyan Sammelan at Shimla this morning. 11th installment of 21,000 crore rupees to 10 crore farmers under Kisan Samman Nidhi scheme to be released by Prime Minister. Centre approves extension of Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program for 5 years. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu reaches Gabon to hold delegation-level talks with Gabon Prime Minister Rose Christian Osuka Reponda. EU leaders agree to ban 90% of Russian oil imports by year-end. World No Tobacco Day is being observed today. In Asia Cup Men's Hockey, India to take on South Korea in their final round-robin league match in Jakarta today. In French Open tennis, India's Rohan Bopanna and his Dutch partner Matwé Middelkoop storm into men's doubles semi-final. World number 2 Daniil Medvedev and Stefanos Tsitsipas make a shock exit in the men's singles. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.